Miss
You
you too, brother.
That's all I like to see. A lot of love, man.
know, nothing but respect and love, man. Hey, we even got Vizo in
Li-
here. Oh my God, Vizo! You know, I haven't seen that in a while.
likewise,
Amazing, man.
likewise.
You
We
know,
got
Give me
we
a
got
second,
RudePits on here
guys. Give me
too.
a second.
So
Rudy,
yeah,
what's up,
continue
Rudy?
with the
How's
story
it
of
going,
Surgio, man.
guys?
So listen,
Okay,
man.
okay.
Now this is what I'm talking about.
Before I continue on real quick, I got to give a shout out to my boy Rudy. You know, Rudy sometimes can be a very controversial person, but the guy, honest to God, truth, man, he's a freaking damn encyclopedia, man. You know,
Oh
the
yeah,
guy knows
Definitely,
so
yeah.
much
definitely.
about the breed; it's unbelievable. Although sometimes he can be a real freaking damn hard ass, you know. But the guy, honest to God, truth, the guy is straight up knowledgeable of this community. It's unbelievable what this guy knows, man. You
Salute to
know,
you, RudePits.
Thank you, Mr. Ron Ramos. I do appreciate the acknowledgement. Sergio, what's going down, big dog?
Doing
Triple
the
OG, this
same
is
thing,
Ron
brother.
Ramos. This is one of my OG mentors, I will proudly say. I just ain't been in his inbox harassing him, bothering him, asking him 1,000
no,
questions
man. You
until
know,
I'm given the
I swear to
okay.
God.
One day it will be there,
You
but
know,
just not today. I
the,
will say thank you, Sergio, Graveyard, for bringing me on, you know what I mean, to speak with some real legends in the American Bully, the ABKC show ring, you know what I mean, in this bully movement. Thank you for having me.
Yo,
I
for
just
sure.
wanted
It's
to,
an honor to have you,
I
bro.
just
You
wanted to salute Ron Ramos real quick on exactly what he stated about having to sometimes when you're a judge, you can't play friends, you can't play homie hookup, and also you have to police the breed. And I think that's where people
Yes,
hate
sir.
me because I'm reading written standards, I'm understanding what I'm seeing, I'm interpreting to what I'm seeing, but I'm hearing people throw a claim, but they might not understand written standard. And when that written standard goes outside of their claim, I mean, their animal that they have goes outside of written standard, their claim, unfortunately, might not be it. They might have to claim something else, you know what I mean, in style or type, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm just saying, I love the fact that you said judges have to police the breed. Thank you for that.
hey,
Let's go ahead and hear Sergio's
Pinnacle
story.
Frenchies, Pinnacle Frenchies. I don't know who you're talking about, man. Oh my God, man. But you know, so again, like I said, see, I have to, like I said, I have to give accolades to Rudy. You know, like I said, sometimes people don't understand Rudy, but Rudy is, you know, he, you know, he's not good at filters, but the thing is, though, he is super knowledgeable. This guy knows history from way back at the breed, so I respect him. Even myself, I want to sit down with him and learn what he has learned. Because like I said, he goes way back, like I go way back. But the thing is, though, is Rudy lived in the heart of where the American Bully was created, which is in Southern California. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people say, well, this guy did it, that guy did it. No, bullshit. It was created and grown from Southern California. So with that being said, let's get to my boy Sergio. You know,
What's going on? What's going on?
man, I have nothing but love for this guy, man. Let me tell you why, you people. Sergio came to the show ring with a dog, and the dog was beautiful, right? And when when I when I inspected the dog, he had one nut, okay, which is clip organ. And in the show ring, that's a disqualification. You are told to tell that person to leave the ring. And I didn't do that because I felt that that was going to accomplish nothing but hurt this man's feelings, and most likely he would never return to the show ring. So
Exactly
with
what
that,
would have happened.
exactly. So what I did is I did the inspection, and I told him, okay, now do the down and back, which basically you have to walk your dog away from me and come right towards me. So what I did is I met him in the center of the ring halfway so nobody could hear us. And I told Sergio, I said, Sergio, I'm supposed to disqualify you because your dog has one nut. And I told him, I'm not going to do that to you. I see the passion, the love you have. The dog is beautiful, you know. So what I can tell you, Sergio, is get the dog fixed and show them in the alter class. And they have an alter class, but it is not really used that much because a lot of people don't want to fix their dogs. Well, Sergio is the exception. He says, something? This dog is amazing. I'm going to fix the dog and I'm going to champion him out, right? And when I told Sergio this, and I hope I don't embarrass him, man. When I told Sergio I stopped in the middle of the ring, so nobody could hear us. I said, Sergio, I'm supposed to disqualify you because your dog hasn't done that. I swear to you, and man, maybe I'm saying things, but Sergio literally had a tear come off his face, man.
That's all
And
fact, all true.
and it broke my heart. But it broke my heart. But at the same token, it made me realize this gentleman is passionate. He's real, man. He's not no phony. This guy loves it. So I told him, I said, listen, Sergio, don't be discouraged, man. Get the dog fixed, show him in the altar class, and come back with another dog. And that was history. And what I mean by that is that this gentleman championed the dog out in the altar class, and since then has had multiple champions. Not one, not two. I'm talking about he's had multiple champions of beautiful dogs. It did not discourage him, but I think a little bit it had to do with I did not embarrass him. I coached him, and I told him, listen, bro, you got it, man. The dog is only part of the team. It's a team effort. So he went out and he did exactly what I asked of him. He got the dog fixed. He championed the dog out, and then from there I don't even know how many champions you got now. God dang, dude, you got a lot of champions.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I've pretty much champed out like the classic dogs that I've always had. The first was Kronos, was a
Blue
stable
Tri,
bully,
right?
and then I had XL Maloso, which was the blue tri,
Right. Yeah.
and then
And then
I
the
champed
gentleman,
out Maloso in the XL ring.
and then you champ out Frenchies as well.
Yeah, I got a grand champion Frenchie. I got a couple champion Frenchie females that I have here now too. And I mean, like I've said, I mean, I've champed out
Surgio, for
quite
the
a
record,
bit of
let
dogs.
the people know
I want to.
how many years you got in this already, man. How much money you put into this already, man?
I want
I've
to say this.
started.
I've watched Sergio in the ring. Great. You can learn a whole lot when it comes down to professionalism. You know what I mean? Knowing the breed, knowing how to handle. And then also, great trainer. You know what I mean? He puts in the real work, and it's constant. Salute, Sergio.
Where you
Thank
located,
you.
Sergio, for the people to know
I'm
in
in
case they
Porterville,
want to follow you?
California.
Ron,
All right,
Porterville,
those of you
California.
Ron,
in
check this out.
California, tap in with them.
What do you think about that, Ron?
Check that out, man. What year is that, man?
This is the one I met.
Oh,
This is where I met
2008.
Ron Ramos. When I met Ron Ramos, it was 2008. The Atomic Dog,
Rudy,
the Super Bully Show.
Rudy got a storage full of with archives
Oh,
and everything, man.
Rudy, I'm telling you,
This was
Hey,
the Shrine
Rudy's a history
Auditorium.
you want to
buff.
know
I ain't shit.
Shrine
something about
Auditorium.
shows? Ask Rudy, bro. Rudy knows
Ron
all of
Ramos.
it.
Shrine Auditorium is where it went down, sir. I believe this was your first assignment.
No, it wasn't. But I will tell you this though: the Shrine,
I know.
the show at the
I
Shrine
met
was
Ron Ramos.
amazing, dude. It was amazing. That's where I gave King Kamali the national win.
Okay,
That show was off the
I got
hook,
a question,
man.
Ron.
Sure.
Do you have any of these flyers for your keepsake?
What's that now?
Do you have any of these flyers for your keepsake?
I have none of that
I got
stuff, brother.
one for you, brand new.
Hell yeah.
It's been in my
sure.
file full of all those. Remember when you go to shows and you collect?
Rudy,
I bet
do
that's
me a
some
favor,
original
Rudy.
Sergio cards. You collect the cards, you collect the flyers, you go home with a
I got
stack. And
Rudy,
I was collecting them like,
Rudy, what I
like
want you to
comic
do
book
me a favor,
cards.
Rudy, I want you to do me a favor.
Say again?
You say you got one for me, right?
Yeah, I got two. I might have four, but I got two.
Okay, listen to me. All I need is one. This is what I want you to do, though. I want you to sign the back of that thing and date it, and then ship it to me.
I want you to sign mine, sir.
Well, I'll do that too. I'll do that too.
Ring.
Let's go, Sam.
Let's
sign.
All love,
that I
bro.
had a
All
beautiful
love. Hell yeah.
female. I had a beautiful red fawn female. She was more of that
at least get a
look.
photocopy and send it to me, guys.
And Ron Ramos tells me, great looking dog, but you brought the wrong dog to the wrong show. Remember that, Ron? It was a long time ago. And I was proud of this female, but I understood what he meant. I brought the wrong dog to the wrong show. I brought an Amstaff, a nice, clean, red fawn, beautiful Amstaff looking type of dog against a bunch of bulls. You know what I mean? But I loved it.
Rudy,
if
you send it, I'll sign it. But I want you to sign yours, and I'm gonna frame that, and I'm gonna put it on my wall for the
Sure.
archives. I want to share that. I want to put it on
I'm
my wall
gonna
with the
have
rest
to
of my
get it
archives.
laminated for you so it's indestructible. I'm gonna
Oh,
laminate
I'll
it and
put it
put
in.
it
Yeah,
in the
I'll do
frame
that,
for
man.
you. That's my presentation.
But let's go
Yeah,
back to Sergio. This is
yeah.
what
Let's
about
go back to
Sergio.
Sergio. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
You know, so
So
go ahead, Sergio.
I've been doing this since what 2013, 2011, 2010.
Yeah.
I started getting into the ring,
You got about
and yeah,
12 years.
that first time, man, was a crusher. But
But
you know,
you
I
allowed it
worked
to become a learning experience, which is golden, man.
You know,
And,
exactly.
you
Every
had
time
a
I
this
went to
great
that
teacher
ring,
for
and,
that too, man. Because,
and this
shout
is
out to him.
why.
Another judge could have just sent you home and packed your
oh
bags and told you, yo, that's
hell
not.
yeah, hell yeah,
And this is why I share the story of Sergio, probably more than any other person. For the fact of the matter is that, I understand that what I do in the ring can either move you forward or hurt you and set you back. And Sergio understood that I was not trying to hurt him. I was trying
right.
to, I was trying to
And
coach him.
that shows a lot of class on your end. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying? Because not
I wanted
everybody
to
would have
coach
handled the
him.
situation the same.
Yeah, I didn't want to embarrass him. He'll tell you. I stopped him in the middle ring. I told him everything.
Oh
And
yeah,
I even
yeah.
told him, I'm not here to embarrass you, man. And I says, I respect you. I love you, man. For the fact of the matter, you're passionate. Don't give this up, man. I pleaded with him, and he didn't, man. So that's why this is one of those stories that I share, with people. And there's another story when I was coaching football of a young man named George Gonzalez. And it's a whole different story, but it was kind of similar. Because I coach football, I coach baseball. I've always been somewhat of a mentor. But Sergio, I'm so glad that he took what I gave to him as constructive criticism and not left and never returned, because he is a beautiful example of listening, learning, and becoming very successful at his craft. He
Thank
was
you.
he was amazing at what he did, and I kid you not. And I'm sure Sergio knows. He probably heard me talk about it before. That I've always praised him. He's one of the few guys that I said I put him on a pedestal for the point that he did not let this defeat him. In fact, he took it as fuel to fire
Yes, sir.
up his passion, and he became great at what he did. So I respect that gentleman so much. There's another
Thank you,
gentleman
Ron.
here. Oh, I love you, brother. No, straight up, man. There's
Thank you,
another guy in
thank
here
you.
that he was in here talking about. Is right here. Is Vizo,
Yep.
Joe Treviso. That boy. I have a lot of love and respect for him. He's another gentleman that I met many, many years ago. In fact, I sold him a dog and stuff, and he did amazing things. And when you're the dog, it's a lot of work and dedication. So he did the dogs, then he raised his family, and now he's back in the dogs. But Joe is another great guy, man. He's one of the guys that he was willing to learn, and like that's what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes when you get mentors, sometimes if you don't have thick skin, you're gonna get hurt and you're gonna walk away and you're never gonna return. And Joe's one of those guys that he will tell you, man. I was never easy on him. He came in the show ring, and I'm there. And the poor guy, I could see when he came to the show ring underneath me. I could almost feel the tension in his face because he felt like, oh my God, man, Ron's so hard on me. You know what I'm saying? And it was not that I was hard on him, just that I had high expectations of him, and he delivered. Joe was successful at what he did. And he's one of those guys. Like I said, if I love you and respect you, trust me, man, I'm gonna help you, but I'm not gonna give you a free pass because we're homies
No, hell no.
or anything like that.
I never,
You know
I
what
never got that.
Yeah, that,
I never
you know,
even.
that's exactly the way
you
I
know,
am too, man. And I always tell people the truth, bro.
And
Ron,
I'm
Ron would
patient
always
I
with
don't.
tell me,
my
man,
word.
why
It doesn't
you
always
sweating
work
so
out,
much?
but it's always good to tell everybody the truth, man. But most importantly, bro, like I got friends, man, that I tell them certain things. I've lost friends that I've told them what they might not want to hear, but it was the truth every single time. And
but
the ones that
Remy,
took it, they learned from it
you'll
and
be
they grew
surprised.
from it. You know.
100%. Remember, what you say right now speaks volumes because
Yes, it does.
I hold my ground, and there's been times where people will think they get upset with me and they'll disappear, and but the thing is I'm patient. I've had people that were mad at me because I didn't get their dog win or this or that,
But like you
and
said, you're always a teacher, and even for us that one or two people, we're learning as we go on how to communicate certain messages and certain things. You know, So that takes time also, you know, for us. Sometimes I get frustrated sometimes trying to explain certain things and break certain things
Yeah.
down to people so they can learn. And I know that they don't get it right away, but you know, it's kind of like you keep beating the nail and eventually you're gonna get it there, you know. But you know, what was the quote that goes something like the student shall appear when no the teacher shall appear when the student is ready to learn or something like that. I forgot how to
It's
probably say
true.
it, but
Something like
basically, I
yes.
know the concept. I don't remember the exact way. I don't know if I was saying it correctly, but I know that's the
No,
concept
you're
behind
right.
that quote.
You know, like I said with Joe, like I said, poor Joe, man. Like I said, I wasn't easy on him because I had high expectations. Joe was like one of my students, so you know, when you're one of my students, you know, I'm not going to give you a free pass.
But then again, too, the toughest, he froze up. He probably got a phone
Correct.
call.
You know, because I have high expectations. If I didn't have high expectations of me, you know, you were my friend. You were nothing to me. So when I have high expectations of you, it's because I know there's greatness in you. You know, so it's one of those things where I like I said, me and Joe go way back, and I'm gonna say to Joe, he's nothing but love, mad respect for this gentleman. You know, I watch his kids grow up and everything, and like I said, me and Joe spend a lot of time in the show ring. We got some great stories, you know what I'm saying, and I have nothing but admiration. And it's so funny because I feel like this is a reunion because right here I see Bulldogs for you 559, and I'm thinking that's Rodrigo,
Yeah,
and
that's Rico.
this is
Yep.
yeah. See, here's another guy that's amazing. He had what was his name? Jack, I think it was his Bulldog.
Jack Attack.
Jack Attack. Man, I'm telling you right now, Jack Attack was one of my favorite Bulldogs, man. And even Surgio knows that every win that he got under me was earned. It was not given. You know,
No, I wasn't.
as much as I loved him, you know, I didn't give him nothing just because we were homies. You know what I'm saying? His one thing was
No.
he had to perform. You know, and if he didn't do his job, he wasn't going to get it. So I had nothing but admiration and respect. So there's some great guys in here, man, that are just like, honest to God, truth. These guys are like icons in the world, and some of these people will never know who they are because you know they may not try the East Coast or maybe, but the thing is, though, these guys are honest to God, truth, really great dogmen. You know,
Thank you.
Yes, I
everybody
expect
that's
to
been in here.
follow. If I don't follow you guys, I'm expecting to follow from me.
Yeah, don't
You
mind
know,
me. I'm just showing some past flyers as they speak through and
I'm
get an
telling you,
idea of the
man,
past
freaking.
dogs.
Rudy, you got to
some
stop
of
Hey,
those,
showing
Rudy,
off,
I'm
man.
telling
Stop
you,
some
man.
of
showing
those
Rudy,
off.
look hella
hey,
Because you
familiar.
always want to remember what those dogs of the
oh,
past look like. Because
I'm
when they're
telling you,
Yes,
gone,
man,
they're
Rudy
sir.
gone.
is
They're
the
never coming back.
historian,
But
man.
we
I'm
still
telling
got
you,
to
Absolutely.
Rudy.
understand the breed of then. Go ahead.
And Rudy's one of those guys. I'm not kidding you, man. You want to talk about somebody needs to write a book? It's fucking
Hey,
Rudy, man.
I'm
You know,
I'm ADD, ADHD. The dog game was my outlet to keep me from getting in trouble, end up in a fucking cage.
I
You know what I
I
mean?
know that. I know that for
So
a fact. You know,
so
and
I keep I
hey, that's gonna
I'm
be
on point.
every
It's
time you
my
see
tunnel
Rudy.
vision. That's how it
Hey,
is, bro.
Rudy, if you see Rudy firing up a blunt, it's because he's trying to calm that shit down.
Yes, yes, yeah. Got to calm it down, and I ain't smoked just yet, so I'm there to educate
No, Rudy
and enjoy
is
this live
awesome,
with
man.
the
I'm
OGs.
not kidding you, man. A lot of people don't understand Rudy, but honestly, got truth, I admire Rudy because he's a
Same
true
here.
historian of the breed. I don't give
Yes,
a
Same
shit
here.
what anybody says.
yes.
Rudy knows the history. Rudy was rooted in Southern California where this shit was born, man.
Look at
So you know all the stuff he
It
this.
was
shows
it
you,
was
believe it or not.
always a pleasure competing with
This is an
Rudy, bro. Cause
original West Coast Gotti line flyer, brand new. Look at it, still shines. You know what I
I'm
mean? Like I
telling you,
said,
man.
I
I'm telling you,
collected
Rudy,
these and I
Rudy,
keep
you
them
some
like
Rudy.
they're.
That
I keep
that
them like they're.
that
This
said
stuff right here is like
that
my
said. Listen,
comic
for
books
those of
I
you
used to
listening,
keep
man,
back
that
in the
says a
day.
lot about
My
Rudy's
baseball
passion
cards.
for these breed, man. It says a lot, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm at. Rudy, man, you know something, man. You need to open a damn museum of bully history because you probably got the most memorabilia than anybody on the planet, man.
I was just gonna say that he needs to make a museum.
No, right, right,
I
Regal.
just broke out of just one of the small pieces. You know what I mean? The garage has so much. Um, I even broke out a photo of them original. I think you might have been around in the Glen Helen Park days when they broke out the original little micro. It was an all white dog. To me, it was like one of the first micro exotics ever. And this is back when Short Bus and Nolan was
Back then,
doing
would that be considered a shorty
the
bull?
No,
Grundor
it was not a shorty
and
bull.
the
Okay.
exhibit blood. and they were
You know,
chasing the extreme class and the
Rudy.
pocket smaller.
I'm glad you bring that up, Rudy.
Yes.
Because all these guys think like micros and pockets are something new,
No.
Nah,
and
they're
it's not.
definitely not. They're
It's
definitely
not new.
not.
It's not even close to be new.
You got to
Now, Rudy,
respect Nolan, Dr. Pocket, right?
no,
Because you had the
100%.
exhibit
Nolan was
blood
one of the
that he
originals.
was
But I
playing
tell you
with.
who. I tell you who's before Nolan, and you
Yeah,
can
well,
correct me.
there's plenty.
Right. But you can correct me because you know the answer,
I
probably.
stop
And
you.
I'm not so sure.
I might not.
No, I guarantee you do.
But
Now,
once I get it, I'm going to remember it,
was it
and I'm going to add
was
it to
it
my
was
book.
it Alvarado kennels, or were they known as Dagger kennels?
I remember Dagger Kennel.
Was it Dagger?
Man, you know what? I'm not sure.
Oh, Rudy, don't let me down, big
Yeah,
dog.
no, I'm not sure with that one, because the first person that I seen that was actually mingling the exotics, at least in my area, in my city of Wilmington, that was Caesar South Bay Gotti line. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where he brought a small dog on a leash at a show, and people were like,
Rudy, I
"That's
need you
bulldog,
to. I need you.
that's bulldog, that's bulldog. You're out of here. That's bulldog."
No.
And back then it was
Rudy.
big pit
I
bull.
need you to do the research on Alvarado kennels. I believe they're Alvarado or Dagger kennels. These guys, they used to come on. They used to come on Dog World magazine,
Okay.
and they would sell their dogs as apartment pit bulls. I mean, because they had like real tiny little pit bulls, but they were badass, man. And
And
if I'm
that's
not
so funny.
mistaken,
You said
if
that
I'm not
apartment
mistaken, the
situation.
guy did ear crops.
Yep. Okay. So the apartment situation, remember, back in the day, you had in California all that the homes and stuff getting taken, and people end up going in apartments, and that's what caused us to want to shrink down, because first it was a big giant,
Right.
Gotti line type dog, and then he wanted to shrink it down to give it basically. I felt it was the direction so that us men can have a small, manly, beefed up, mean mugging dog instead of some floofy dog like a Pomeranian. So that was the style of dog to give those
100%.
toy dogs
Yeah, back
a
in
run
the
for their money.
day, it was like
before they
Gray
got-
Line and Do Good. All those guys had like big ass dogs, man.
Yes. Now you mentioned Dagger kennels. So
Right.
Dagger was the OFRs. That was the weight pulling guy. That's Omar Ross, Dagger kennels, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember the history that well.
So Omar Ross, Dagger kennels, he was in the books with the Red Dogs, and then along came Oliver De La Cruz,
Oh,
to represent
my
the
boy
Blue
Oliver,
Dog.
man. I love
You know
that
what I
guy,
mean?
man. He is so humble, man.
And Dagger kennels was the first. When I went to my first dog show, pit bull show, they were Dagger dogs pulling 10,000, 13,000 pounds on a weight track. That's what got me into it. That's what made me want to train my red noses to slide, to weight pull and dead weight pull at the park, and just physical conditioning, because I come from the conditioning of game dogs. So
Right.
now I know, and I'm being told you can't do that with your bullies. You're gonna kill them. You're doing too much to them. They're not built that way. So I had to bring it down a little bit, but still continue a good physique and
With at least
that
the
muscle.
ideology to have dogs with drives.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
listen,
And then
I'm
then
so
I
glad,
slowed down.
Rudy. I'm so glad, Rudy, you mentioned Oliver, because a lot of people have no clue who Oliver is. Oliver De La Cruz is the most humblest man on the planet, man. I kid you not. You wouldn't even know the guy, because he's like, and don't take this wrong, but he's like a fly on the wall. He's just very quiet, reserved. He sits there and he listens to everything. And Oliver probably had one of the baddest XLs on the planet, and that was Chevelle.
Well, okay, Chevelle, yep. But then you got White Dragon in the weight pulling record book. You could search it on
And that's
YouTube.
Oliver's dog, right?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. And then you had the Dungeon weight pull team, and then you had the Blue Dog representing for the Blue American Bully that got put in the record book in the weight pull, and that was Nakali, I believe. You know what I mean?
See,
Oliver,
this is what I'm saying about Rudy. See, Rudy knows this shit like the back of his hand. And Oliver, believe it or not, I mean, he was such a humble man, man. I love the guy because, if you didn't know who this guy was, you would think like he was just somebody sitting in the background, like didn't know nothing. But the guy was a genius when it came to
Ron,
the dogs, the weight pull, and
I
everything.
got a
man.